Urgent, the history of the Algerian-French conflict, 2 centuries of confrontation and tension. Since French forces first set foot in Algeria in 1830, the two countries have been embroiled in a cycle of conflict and tension that has spanned more than 2 centuries. It's a long history of occupation, revolution, independence, and diplomatic crises that still cast a shadow over relations between the two countries today. How did this conflict begin? What were its most significant turning points? 1830, the French invasion, the bloody beginning. On July 5, 1830, Algeria fell under French occupation after a violent military campaign that overthrew the ruling Ottoman Sultan. The invasion was not merely a military occupation, it marked the beginning of an era of colonial settlement, in which France plundered resources, confiscated lands, and imposed a French identity on Algerians. The Algerian resistance, unstoppable revolutions, but the Algerian people did not accept the occupation silently. From day one, resistance ignited, and Emir Abdelkader of Algeria led one of the greatest armed resistance movements in history, lasting until 1847, when he was forced to surrender. This was followed by a series of uprisings, such as the Mokrani Revolt of 1871 and the Bouamama Revolt of 1881, all attempts to restore Algerian sovereignty. The 20th century, the spark that ignited the Great Revolution. With the outbreak of World War II, Algerians believed that the end of colonialism was near, especially after France promised to recognize their rights in exchange for their support in the war. Instead, the French response was the massacre of May 8, 1945, in which French forces killed thousands of Algerians demanding independence. These massacres were only the beginning of a major revolution that would change the course of history. 1954, the Liberation Revolution. The birth of independent Algeria. On November 1, 1954, the National Liberation Front, FLN, launched a call for armed struggle against the occupation, beginning a bloody 8-year revolution that became one of the most violent wars of independence in history. More than 1.5 million martyrs, massacres, torture, and exile took place, but in the end, the Algerians were victorious, and France was forced to negotiate independence. 1962, Algeria regains its freedom. On July 5, 1962, after 132 years of occupation, Algeria officially declared its independence following the Evian Accords. This was a historic moment, but despite the end of colonialism, tensions between the two countries did not end. Post-independence, an ongoing struggle. Even after independence, crises continued between Algeria and France, most notably the colonial memory file. Algeria demands full recognition from Paris of its colonial crimes, while France hesitates to offer an official apology. Recurring diplomatic crises, tensions over visa issues, immigration, and French political statements that anger. Algeria, French influence in Algeria. Despite independence, France continues to seek to maintain its economic and cultural influence in Algeria, a matter of controversy. Conclusion: will the conflict remain open? Despite the passage of more than 60 years since Algeria's independence, relations between the two countries continue to fluctuate between rapprochement and tension. Will a moment of true reconciliation ever come? Or are the wounds of the past still too deep to heal easily? Only time will tell. But what is certain is that the Algerian-French conflict will remain one of the most complex issues in modern history.